Hello and welcome to episode 3, which we have no name yet, but
The one with no name.
one with no name. I'm Kyle from Max Toys and Comics. And we got with us.
Oh, I guess I'll go. I'm the other half of Max Toys and Comics. I am Liz.
Hi, Liz.
Yeah. Hi, Liz. And I'm Randy from 98 Culture Comics and Collectibles out in Spearfish, South Dakota, where it is a balmy -4 degrees right now.
Wow.
Nice.
I think we're expecting some of that on Monday. They're saying
Yeah.
2.
Yeah. High of -1 on Monday and Tuesday,
Wow.
supposedly. So
I am personally really excited about that. Almost as excited as I am about where we go next, which is what's new in the castle. So what is new in the castle, right? Oh, why did I go to slide 3 automatically? There we go. So new member shout outs. We just want to give a quick shout out to any new members if we did happen to miss you, because it has been 2+ weeks since we've done one of these. We do appreciate you guys being in here. I personally, my favorite, it's a toss up between Ladybug pressure washing and Proton Pack Guide Chris, personally. But welcome to them all new members. We do appreciate you guys all coming in and joining us. So the major announcement that we just wanted to, we've already made a huge announcement about it, but you guys, the members, have spoken. We presented you 4 different logos, and I think we were all maybe a little surprised which one won. And I think we were all kind of surprised which one didn't get a whole lot of love.
right.
I think we all kind of just thought, one was going to be a little bit better than the other, but we loved them, all 4 of them. We kind of tinkered with all 4, and wanted to present something that we thought we would be all happy with, and that we thought kind of just talked about us this evolution into kind of the next phase of where we're at. So very, very cool. Very excited about that. Any thoughts from you guys about the new logo?
I think it's awesome. I mean, it wasn't my first choice. It wasn't the one I voted for. But, not to spoil anything coming in the podcast tonight, but this logo looks really good on the merch. Just saying.
I'm glad Randy said it first. Was not my first pick either. I don't know if Randy and I had the same alternative, but we did have 5 selections? 4.
4. Mm-hmm.
4 selections. So but this one came in a favorable first. I personally said I think it looks a little Star Trek-y. But not that that's a bad thing. You know what? It reminds me of the little com button pin, whatever. I'm butchering that. But what I love about it, not only does it look professional and clean, but we have different color variations of it, which is something we don't have to worry about. We want to do a red and green one for Christmas, or a blue one, or a black and white one. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it. The designer we went to also has done some work for us personally. So just very, very, very excited about it. Equally as excited about our YouTube channel. If you guys have not taken the opportunity to join the YouTube channel, what's stopping you? We have 5,000 members and 44 subscribers. So a little lopsided, but Chad has been telling me that some of the videos are getting some really good views. So it's really exciting. We continue to we'll be continuing to add new content out here. And we want to make sure you guys all know that you are free to submit your own content, right? If you have videos of your, videos that you would like to see as part of the Collector's Castle. I mean, this is your community. We will be in the next couple days providing you a Dropbox or a Google Drive or something like that, where you guys can actually load your own content, and we'll put it on the YouTube channel. So, you know, we don't want this just to be a advertisement space for us. This is about, I mean, you can see, you know, the little bit of the content that Chad has done so far, which is all around the collector mentality, right? So I personally love it. I know, you know, he's feel a little, you know, under the weather today and couldn't join us. But he is doing a fantastic job. I think he was probably the first person to get the new logo on there before I think I even had it on the Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like Chad.
That definitely sounds like Chad.
He's got some skills when it comes to these videos. Chad's been doing that for a long time with his Lego builds, which is one of my favorite things to watch because I am not a skilled Lego builder. So I like watching somebody else do it, kind of like the home renovation shows, you know. It's like, oh, that looks great. I wish I could do that.
Yeah.
So.
And then Randy said he's going to present. He has a 30-minute video movie that he's been working on that he's going to put out there. So I can't wait to see this.
Oh goodness.
Home movies.
We do want to just quickly. So the Lego contest, we are still doing it. You know, obviously with the holidays, there is just a little bit of a delay. But the selected winner was the Batmobile. So we will be presenting you guys a couple different options of where you can get that. If you're, it was the Batmobile, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. You gave me that look for a minute, like you put the wrong one up there, Kyle. But no,
I voted for the Up House.
So what we will be doing is at some point, you know, making sure that people will coordinating this and be doing a group live build of this with the winner getting something. And it's not just going to be a, you know, $5 gift card. You know, we're talking about, you know, something of decent value.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to keep your Lego that you just built. So
well, there you go.
You know, the other thing I really wanted to kind of show you guys, and make sure that we got in front of the group, is something really kind of exciting, and it's almost done. Is the official Collector's Castle website.
Yay!
So we will have full merch on here within the next week. But you can start to see some of it coming out. All of our different sellers and contributors are going to be on here, as well as any, you know, additional kind of versions of the logos that they have. You can see products. We're going to have some customer says, and then you can see here, just kind of just shows you, you know, the 5 kind of brands that are underneath the Collector's Castle tag.
So walk us through that. How is that going to work?
Well, it's great. So you can go in, shop. I'm looking at clothing.
Trucker hat would look good on you.
I like that trucker hat. You can click on one of these. And we go up to a whopping 6X. So you select your size. And there's a couple different colors that you could choose from.
Nice. Lovely
I
green.
personally like that one. But and what's nice is this is directly connected to a company that will generate them for us. So when you order it here and you hit add to cart and you pay for it, this is not coming to us. This is actually going through one of these print on demand type companies where they'll make it and send it directly to you.
So direct to consumer printing.
Directly to consumer printing. This is not something where, and you know, some of the sellers like you know, Liz and I may have some available in our shows. We're going to try to have a variety of you know, everyone's different versions. Like here's Billy's Beyond the Realms. And on the back of this is a big Collector's Castle logo. So very cool. You can get, you know, I'm not saying Billy's a 4X. Maybe I'm saying I'm a 4X. But see, look how cool that is.
Love it.
Yeah.
We've come so far in just a few years from the first time we did a run of shirts, and we spent a ridiculous amount of money and got, you know, every size we could get, and took us like quite some time to, you know, sell them all.
Mhm.
We gave a lot away to our closest friends and family. And well, everybody wanted one, which was great, but you know, and then you're left with a pile of, you know, small and medium shirts, and guys are asking for 2XL. So I love this concept that there's no waste. You know, you order what you want and it comes right to you hot off the press. So that is the coolest thing about this partnership.
And I had multiple people asking for buttons. So, and
Buttons
there's probably about 2 or 3 dozen different kind of accessory type stuff we can add, which we'll be doing.
maybe some kitchen hand towels.
Maybe. Wouldn't you like
my
the
wife would
Oh,
not be
I
cool with that.
cannot wait to see what I'm getting for Valentine's Day.
So we're really excited about this. Like I said, you'll be able to go in here, you know, we'll do an official announcement on this. I was hoping to have it complete for this release of the podcast, but you know, Liz knows me now that I get a little, you know, antsy when, you know, I can't keep my excitement in anymore. So I just needed to show this to you guys. So we will have it. No, it's actually not Kal-El. We're actually about to move into. Let's move into. Well, that's not the scene I want.
Kal-El says, "Is this about castle merch?" I said,
No,
we got a few topics tonight we're talking about.
Yeah. So, Rand, you want to kick us off? I guess you know, the first kind of big discussion point.
Yeah. You know, it's a conversation we've been having a lot at my shop. It's one of those things. I think a lot of people have been talking about it, especially with a lot of the news lately about Hasbro laying off all the employees and stuff like that. Is our big question, looking at our sales and what moves, is our 6-inch collectibles figures, is it dead? You know, with the recent cost, the wholesale cost for us is getting kind of ridiculous. I know you know that, Kyle. You know, when you're looking at, say, a ballpark of $30 for a 6-inch figure, and it's mom with her son bringing them into the shop, you know, shopping on the website, stuff like that, that's a decent sized purchase now. You know, at $20, $22, $23, you can justify that a little more. But when you start touching that $30 mark for a simple 6-inch action figure, it starts to become kind of a tougher pill to swallow for the most part.
Yeah, and I also saw, I think I saw that the new McFarlanes are 40 each.
I saw that this week as well.
Right. So, you know, this is something that is kind of a hot topic. You know, kind of the discount store debate, right? You know, you hear about it all over the place. I mean, we're all on Facebook, we're all on YouTube, and you're seeing all these people with their mad rushes out to Ross and the Ollie's and
TJ
doing special
Maxx.
kind of raw sales and stuff like that. You know, and you know, what do you think? Okay, I'm going to present it as 2 parts to you. Why do you think they do that? Which I have a pretty good idea. And how much do you really believe it impacts you as someone who's trying to move product yourself? So,
you know, I'm in a special situation given my location out here in the Midwest and South Dakota. We don't have Ollie's. We don't have an Ollie's anywhere near us. Ross, we have maybe 1 or 2 Ross stores within 300 or 400 miles. So my customers don't really understand or know or relate to the Ollie stuff. But as I watch these toy hunting YouTubers and stuff like that, that I always kind of keep tabs on just to know how the market's looking around the country, it's almost becoming they're not doing the Walmarts and the Targets anymore. They're doing the Ollies and the TJ Maxx and the Ross and stuff like that, grabbing these figures for $5, which Kyle, me and you both know, Liz, I'm sure you know, I'm eating a lot of money on a $5 figure that I paid way more for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So my question is, because I kind of went down the rabbit hole looking at this, right? What do you guys think is contributing to this? Because there had to be something. Is it overproduction? Is it a clog in the delivery and the inventory? Because there's cases of things showing up at, Ross or TJ Maxx that are so deep discounted, but people were looking for it high and low a few months ago.
Well, so I think the answer to that is twofold. Okay. One, the first part of it is circling away from, and if you notice, all the products that you're mostly finding are Hasbro, right? GI Joes. I saw some Power Rangers, Marvel Legends,
Star Wars Black Series.
yeah, Star Wars Black Series, all Hasbro. Hasbro just laid off how many people?
20% of their staff.
Hasbro overproduced, the production runs on all of those lines were incredibly high. And now what it is you have these stores that, selling them at $6, even for Ollie's, is taking a loss. Now, here's where I could put my corporate hat on for a second and talk to you a little bit about the corporate structure. Right? So, as a small business like Randy and Liz and I, you don't qualify for these kind of things. But larger corporations, there's things called like I work for a truck parts distributor, and we have an E&O list that is old expiring inventory that the government allows us to sell for $1 and recoup our whole original cost, because you're basically taking it at a loss, and you get the $1 that you sold it for. Okay, so but you have to classify the product. So what I suspect is happening with a lot of these larger chains, because you notice all these things that they're dropping are 2 years old, 3 years old. This is all old inventory, excess inventory that they're getting rid of. They're selling for $7 each, which is essentially becomes 100% profit. Because of the way that corporate structures, like large companies like Ollie's and Ross, are structured, is when something goes into an E&O list, they now can take advantage of certain tax breaks and things like that we don't have the ability to do, right? We don't have the ability to go, hey, I'm just going to sell it for $6. Well, that's a total loss for us. So the impact, though, that has on us, I don't believe it has as much of an impact on like us personally, because so much of the inventory is old and it's a lot of the same inventory. It's nothing I'm really carrying.
So these people who are going in there and like collecting up, a case of, Marvel Legends, what are they doing with them? Because that's not something I feel like businesses like ours or Randy's would do, because it feels like, yeah, you're right, they're outdated.
Yeah.
But what are these people doing with them? Putting them on eBay, stashing them until the next movie comes out? I don't know.
I think it's a little.
I wish I knew the answer to that. You know, like who wants these garbage figures that literally nobody wanted and even at $6 they're sitting on the shelf.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what's funny about the whole thing is that, I saw like a video of two people like, talking about, oh, look at these G.I. Joe guys I got. And they were all the ones from the Snake Eyes movie. Those figures were horrible. Like, absolutely horrible. Like, you got ripped off spending $7 on it. Like, they're not, but people are, I think it's the, oh my God, this was originally $27 or $30 or whatever it is. And I'm getting it for $7.
Mm.
And I think it's that mentality. And I think it's Kal-El, actually, Kal-El, we don't see your name. So when
it is Kal-El. He is making some great comments though.
Yeah. It shows up on here as Facebook user Kal-El because there's a link that you have to put out there. I don't know if Liz, you can look that up. Just go on StreamYard. I think StreamYard.com /Facebook or something. If you can Google that real quick and put the link. I was trying to look for it while we were talking. But you can click on this link and it will actually show your name, kind of like Chris did here, where we see Chris Kirk and his beautiful beard. But Callie, you're making some great points. I also saw another seller in a larger group. He literally called his whole live a Rossathon. And it's everything he went to bought at Ross, and he sold it for more.
That's crazy.
Okay. Like, that's the mentality I don't understand. Okay, I can understand. Thanks, man.
This comment though, that's so terrible.
I almost got in a fist fight with a Leonardo figure a few months ago because this guy took every one of them to resell and wouldn't give me one, even though he's seen and knew I was trying to get the whole set. Yeah, that's that. Now that gets into an interesting whole different debate of the retail versus reseller in kind of our space, right? There are hunters and gatherers and people who will go out there, and that's how they make their living, right? They go out there and they hunt, or they go out there and they're on target at 10 a.m. right as something drops to try to get it right away so that they can then resell it, right?
Yeah, there's people that are going to take the coupons and go buy all the baby diapers that are on sale, at Target, or they're going to wipe out all the damn toilet paper. Yeah. It looks like that just happens with anything that looks trendy, I guess.
But it does lead to this conversation that has come up a lot recently is what is considered retail. So this conversation came up with me specifically in regards to NECA. We tend to sell NECA at about $40. Okay. MSRP on a NECA, that they put out there is $43. But a company like Target or Big Bad Toy Store could put it out there for $37.99 or $37. Well, I say retail is $40, right? Because retail for me is $40. I bake into, and I'm sure you do the same thing, Randy. I put everything into a program, and it puts the cost of the product in there. But I also put in, the cost of labor that I paid my kid. I put in the cost of bubble wrap. I put in the cost for boxes. I put in the cost for the labeling. I put all of that in there. And then it puts that over all of my inventory. So even when I buy the price that it costs to ship it to me, I put all of that in there. So my unit cost is what they call true landed cost, which is where everything is baked into it. Right. So someone goes, oh my God, I know you're probably getting it for $20. No, I wish. So the argument that was kind of presented to me is, why don't you sell it at 37? Well, because I have so much other overhead as a small business. That $3 goes a long way to making sure that I can continue to bring you product. Because for me to get that for you, I have to take the gamble of buying 6 of them, 12 of them, thinking they're going to be popular. Perfect example. Okay, that fucking goddamn dog thing figure, Nekadid. I saw that thing and I was amazed. I thought that thing was going to be like flying off the fire. I just thought it was going to be gone.
I think the picture sold you. It probably photographed really well.
And I can't.
It's an amazing figure, personally.
What's that? It is. It's
as a thing collector myself.
Yeah.
I bought one from you, Kyle. I can't get them around here. I don't have a Nika wholesale, and the minute they announced that thing, it was a straight order for me. I didn't care if the thing came in looking like a fourth grader made it out of Play-Doh. I was going to buy it, and it's on my shelf.
Yeah, I mean,
Did you put it together, Randy? Did you put it together?
No, I'm inbox. I'm inbox.
Yeah, so she tried to put it together, and Riley our son tried to put it together.
He got most of it.
No. He just did the dog part. Literally, all he did was the dog. He was like, he looked at all those other tentacles and stuff. He's like, yeah, no, hard pass. He's like,
you
no,
mean the Lego master didn't want to figure out how to put 22 tentacles on the thing dog?
But that goes back to my original point, right? Do I get them for cheaper than if I were to go and buy them at the store? Yes. Okay. But I have to buy a minimum. Okay. So if I sell them with $3 extra on it, and I sell 3 of the 6, okay, and then I end up having to sell the other 3 at cost or for $1 extra. Overall, on the case, I lost.
Yeah.
Right. That's what a lot of people don't think. They just think in the standards of a single unit, or they think in the sense of, oh, well, you buy 6, you're going to sell 6. I can't sell those dogs for $40 right now. Okay. So that's the risk you run into as a retail business, right? Is sometimes things are great and some things are not. You try your best to be as close to retail as possible.
Well, Kyle, that kind of brings up an interesting point, though, too, is, we order a lot of this stuff with content backing it, TV shows, movies, things like that. And when the TV shows and the content don't back it up, we can talk about Hasbro, say, over manufacturing, coming back with a knee-jerk reaction and under manufacturing, future waves, window boxes, windowless boxes, but ultimately it's content backing, quality content. And even when we get quality content, it's not driving sales in the collectible. I mean, you take Andor, for example. Andor was probably some of the best Star Wars, in my opinion, we've had since Rogue One, which was the best Star Wars I think we've had since the original trilogy. I'm not going to go into all that.
Yeah.
But the Andor figures weren't exciting. I mean, they were just a bunch of people. They weren't Jedis with lightsabers. They weren't, bad guys or anything. It wasn't anything to drive merchandise sales. And I think, obviously we can talk about a lot of failed content that Marvel and stuff has put out that didn't exactly sell well for us. And, for a lot of us, we're ordering 6-12 months in advance on a lot of these waves, not even seeing pictures most of the time of the characters. There's stuff like that. Is it over manufacturing? I don't know. I don't know if it's over manufacturing or a lack of quality content backing the figures to make them sell well.
Or a little bit of A and a little bit of B.
Yeah.
I'd like to address a couple of comments, bring a couple comments that people have here. So this one I think was from Kal-El. I've had this theory for the past year on the prices. They're stupid high because of the collecting, and toy photography has taken off so much using toys in their social media. Okay. And these makers know people will fork over crazy money for them. I happen to agree with him on the sense of, the higher quality items, right? Like a Hot Toy or 3-0 or some of that stuff, maybe. Another comment we have here: if it's not NECA or Takara, Tommy, or Hasbro Masterpiece, Transformers, or Godzillas, and Aliens, Predators, and MK and horror, it's not important for my collection. I think you hit everything but Star Wars. But I also buy stuff for my daughter, my wife, and my mom, and some of my siblings as well, which probably covered the Star Wars part. So, Timothy Green says to you, Randy, personally, don't go down that rabbit hole. This actually leads to Richard Shipp. I love Richard Shipp. Interesting little fact about Richard Shipp is he is one of these few people. Not few people. That sounds really cold. He's one of these people that we really enjoy when they come in live because he just has such a rich history. And I found out that someone, whenever he would come into our lives, was blocking, like flagging him, so he would get kicked out of our lives. So I don't know if Richard pissed someone off, or I pissed someone off, but ever since I blocked about 15 people, all of a sudden Richard's in our lives again. So welcome back.
Hey,
welcome back.
He makes it interesting. This comment was really, I'm glad he made these comments. Star Wars toys they're oversaturated. And this was a fact that Chad sent to us shortly before live. He said in the last year, they've had, I think he said 99 different Black Series Star Wars.
Check for you.
Okay. If you do it at just $30 each, if you wanted to collect all of just the Black Series, you're talking about $3,000.
Oh my gosh.
A year to invest in your Star Wars collection if you're a completist. Now, of course, you got a lot of, within there, you got, a lot of senators and, things like that no one ever buys.
All these figures.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I personally love the senators when they do those. But let's see, what do we got here?
Except Mon Mothma. I mean, come on. I'm not going to go into it, but yeah.
I think it was Kal-El earlier brought up the comparison, and he was saying again to Funko Pops.
Yeah.
Right? It kind of like buying, pre-buying shirts.
Yeah.
Okay. If you get too many of a style that people don't like or don't care for, you're going to be stuck with it.
Mm-hmm.
The people who are going to buy them at $25 a piece or $15 a piece, that's what they're going to do. And then you're stuck with a pile of them and you end up putting them on the $5, clearance bin. Like, what are you supposed to do with that? We oversaturate the market.
Mm-hmm.
Then you guys haven't even brought up the whole economy situation.
Sure.
And as we know, when groceries start costing more and gas starts costing more and everything is more expensive and our pay raises haven't met up to the increase of the cost of living, what's the first thing you cut out is all the non-essentials. I might be cut out my extras like collecting toys before I'm going to say, oh, we can't order pizza tonight.
Right.
I'd rather.
No, Liz, no. I'll starve. I'll gladly starve. I'll keep buying myself pointless trinkets for my shelves long before I give up anything else.
Well, this is Guy. Hey, Guy, how you doing, bud? He said, that's why I don't buy Star Wars or Predator. It's just way too much. And Pops, I don't really like much anyways. And Richard said, pizza is a needed item. So I think that the people
talk about essentials here, okay?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's an interesting argument that to make the Funko Pop correlation, but I think it's Funko Pops as a whole. A lot of you guys are in bigger markets than I am. Obviously you guys are Chicago area, and there's East Coast, West Coast guys in our group. Being in the Midwest, I still move a lot of Funko Pops. Funko Pops are a great seller for me. So a lot of these guys who poo-poo the Funko Pops and stuff like that, it's still a thriving market in areas of the country, despite personal hatred, I guess, for Funko Pops.
Well, hey,
You
I got a
know,
great deal for you because I had someone reach out to me and said they had 100 pops if I wanted them at $1 each.
yeah, I'd be done. Piece of
Oh,
cake,
like,
$100. I'll pay the shipping. Shoot it my
okay,
way
you know,
easily.
I'm like, well,
I mean, I
like, I don't
don't
even know
I don't
what's
want to
there.
be
I mean, it's
crap.
almost too good to not say. To,
The
like,
100 Richard Simmons pops, Kyle.
Pass.
Would you
Well,
like
Kyle,
one? We have
you know,
one.
we
you
do
know,
have
Kyle,
a
you
Richard
brought it.
Simmons pop if you would like it. Tell you what, next time you make a purchase, I'll make sure that gets in there with the
Sweet.
what's the
Killer
big
Clowns?
head? What's that?
Killer Clowns? Is that what's coming? Or
No. The McFarlane movie figure that I was all pissed off about that they made a figure of.
the baby hangover one.
No, not the baby hangover one. The ass hat. Randy Asshole or
Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso.
Oh, Ted Lasso.
I
Yes.
just want to be really clear, Randy. We said Richard Simmons, not Gene Simmons. Okay.
I'd rather have Richard Simmons in that equation.
In his little leotard.
So
But you know,
here,
Kyle, you kind of touched on it earlier, though, too. With this stuff, it's just case count. You know, the Star Wars Black Series, the Marvel Legends have always been six mixed case or 6 in a single case. But I'll give Hasbro credit, though. The G.I. Joes, they've dropped to 4 per case, which makes me continuing to carry G.I. Joe a lot more tenable in my store. I can move 2-3 figures of a 4-figure case. You send me 6 of something I can sell 2 of is a little bit harder for me to swallow, especially if you send me mixed cases of guys I don't know what's going to be in the wave, and I get the wave in, and you give me 1 Mandalorian, 1 Grogu, and then a bunch of doubles of all these crap characters that I might as well just sell the ollies for $4 before I even, do anything with the case.
Yeah.
So I think Hasbro's adjusting. I think the case counts is an important thing. If they can bring those case counts down, I think a lot of us will continue to order and carry a minimal stock.
Well, I don't know. I know you're a Four Horsemen person, but I just heard that they're cutting their case sizes down from
Absolutely.
24 to 12, right? I think it was.
Yep.
To me, that's a much more manageable amount because
absolutely,
if you wanted to, and that's part of the reason we actually stopped carrying Four Horsemen is to carry an entire wave. You're talking 9 figures, maybe, plus the accessories because they want you to take everything, plus the deluxe figures, and you have to get on the regular figures, not 24 of each. I mean, you're spending 5 figures for that wave. And what hurts about that is it's such a, if you go to a lot of cons, they would sell well. In our market space, not so much. Now, they might do better for you, maybe, for walk-in traffic or in your store. Maybe that's something, but for us, it's just you get the 6 or 7 guys that really want them, and then you're like, great, now I got 13 more.
Yeah.
What am I going to do?
Well, I mean, you bring up another interesting point as far as the 6-inch figure thing goes, which is the boutique manufacturers. Somebody like Four Horsemen, which you've got a Four Horsemen wholesale account, so do I. One of their base figures is usually $45 to $50, but they're bringing a level of engineering and posability and quality to their figures. So are we losing as we get the Marvel Legends and the Star Wars collectors inch ever higher towards that $30 mark, the $30+ mark, to where we're pushing them into these independent retailers like Four Horsemen? There's some other ones, I think 5K Toys, there's a bunch of other manufacturers kind of coming into the space on a limited basis, but they're bringing an exponentially higher quality figure.
Yeah.
So is it getting to the point where instead of I need to collect, like Chad pointed out to us, 30 33 waves of Black Series this year for $3,000, or do I buy 2 waves of Mythic Legions for $1,000 and have an infinitely higher quality figure and better figure in my collection? I don't know. I mean, I would really love to know what collectors think. I still have great Black Series guys that collect. I have Marvel Legends guys. You know, is the volume there where it was? No. But am I going to continue to carry these things? Absolutely. You know, there's whether the market's there today, tomorrow, or 6 months. I mean, Kyle, you know how it goes. 12 months from now, somebody's gonna be like, "Man, do you have any Richard Simmons Funko Pops?" They're like, "Shit, man, I sold them all for $2 a piece," and he's gonna be like, "Man, on my Whatnot channel, I'm selling them for 30 a piece. Everybody wants Richard Simmons." And then
and that's the gamble.
you missed the wave.
It's
You
the gamble.
missed it.
Someone made a comment in here. Why not just put up a pre-order for Pops and you won't get stuck with them? I try to do pre-orders on a lot of stuff. You know,
I think that's just a Pops have saturated market in general, right? And I mean, we've seen stores in the mall, you know, go up that are just Funko Pops and signed Funko Pops and super rare ones. And just as soon as they're there, they're gone in a year. You know, you can't, I don't know how sustainable that is, but that was, I remember being in the one pop shop in Alpharetta.
Yeah.
So, and that's in Georgia. And it's like, wow, this is big here, big enough to have this big store in a very affluent mall, but you know, it's there for a year and then it's gone. So what does that say about sustainability? But that brings me to another point we wanted to bring up tonight is how do the pop culture trends affect collecting habits? You know, is some people are saying in the chat talking about like Godzilla and King Kong, they're historical. Like you don't not collect something like that, or you know, if you see it, you have to have it. But how does pop culture trends affect our collecting habits? Like, are we oversaturated with Marvel and Star Wars now? Are we on to the next thing? The Demon Slayers and the what's the Mythic Legions and things like that. These trends kind of go back and forth. So what are you guys seeing in that department?
Well, I want to show you something.
Kyle.
I want to show you something really interesting, and it's just so funny. You know, we in previous podcasts we talk about, you know, we talked a little bit about pre-orders. Neither one of us have anything, you know, kind of where we're offering our pre-orders, but I did just want to show this real quick, which is funny enough. Hot mover. Okay, something that I think I've been seeing a huge amount of interest in. Godzilla.
Historical.
Right. And it really is, you know, with the MonsterVerse, this comes back to a little bit to your pop culture question, right? MonsterVerse, the TV show, is getting a lot of great buzz. I've heard literally people saying that walking out of that the last Godzilla movie, that it was the best Godzilla movie they've ever seen in their lives. Okay.
Teenagers raving about it, which makes me so happy.
Yeah.
And moving along generations.
Incredibly cool about this is for the longest time, the Godzilla licensing was owned by NECA. And they lost it. And now it's open there out there. Super 7 are doing some really fantastic ones. Hyatt Toys are doing some really, really great toys. Hyatt Toys, in my opinion, really has upped their game, because Hyatt Toys, I used to always joke about, because you get them and they're the 1/18 scale, right? And you're like, oh god, you know. I mean, you know, it's a certain, they just don't sell for me. But now they're getting into the 1/6 scale, and they're getting into larger figures. So you know, it just goes to show you Godzilla is hot now, but it's because the material that is out there, the movies, the TV shows that surround it, have brought people back into it. Godzilla 10 years ago probably wasn't, at the highest point of the Marvel movie universe, you couldn't keep Marvel Legends in stock, right? Godzilla is kind of the same thing for me now, right? I put Godzilla out, Godzilla goes out.
Yeah.
So
in our beginning days, you were the Legends guy.
Yeah.
If people were looking for Legends, which they were, yeah, they knew who to, email. Like, hey, can you get a hand on this? Now we just send you to Ross.
Yeah, second row.
Well, Kyle, you touched on it right there, like we talked about earlier, which is content-driven sales.
Yeah.
Godzilla is dropping, -1, like you said. It's been extremely well reviewed across not only 13-year-olds, but 60-year-olds are going and loving this movie. You've got Monarch: Legacy of Monsters on Apple Plus, which is a high quality show. We've got Kong versus Godzilla coming this year. You got, Godzilla comics are some of my best sellers.
Yeah,
Honestly,
Godzilla, Kong, Justice League. I mean, do I say more?
Yeah, I mean, I had no idea there was such a rabid fan base for Godzilla. But in the last year, I've got guys, and like you said, anywhere from 10-year-old, 12-year-old kids coming in lecturing me on Godzilla Japanese films to 65, 70-year-old guys coming in asking if I have got Godzilla 1975 or some old one. And I got to say, I never saw the Godzilla thing coming. I completely underestimated it, and I am scrambling to get product on my shelves because I am selling everything Godzilla I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I happen to have always loved the Godzilla stuff. So when the Hiya Toys started doing them, I started buying them, and they're all coming in now. And now I'm just going, man, I wish I would have bought a couple extra, because they're doing all, they're doing not just Godzilla. I mean, they're doing all these random, villains and other monsters. It's just fantastic. We have someone in here, Randall Jackson. Sorry, Randall says, as someone who was part of the Think Geek GameStop community for years, I noticed that Godzilla figure statues moved well. I didn't realize it was a major market because you don't hear about it, but it really has a large following. And I think it probably has always had that following. I just think it's like you said, what is popular drives what people are looking for, right? The Marvel machine is not hitting on all cylinders. You've heard what was half the movies that came out in this last phase, people didn't like. They built this whole storyline around this actor who they no longer can use. And so that, I think, directly, the interest in the franchise affects the interest in the toys.
Absolutely.
That could have happened. That could have happened with Robert Downey Jr. He could have, fell back into drugs. And
how dare you?
It could have. I mean, when you build something around one person, you don't have any other alternatives, or you do like they did with what's his name? Don Cheadle. You replace.
Terrence Howard.
You replace Iron Patriot.
Yeah. Because he wanted more money because he didn't like that Robert
Downey.
Downey
And it was like,
Jr.
hey, you've only been in 15 minutes of one movie. Get out of here. But no, I love that because I wasn't into any of this growing up. Somebody mentioned Motu in here too, how that's like on the rise with a lot of fan base as well. And I have to agree. But like, I wasn't into, when I was a kid, there was, Godzilla was what they were playing on WGN on like a Sunday afternoon. I was like, oh, this looks terrible. I could not.
You're in Chicago. Shouldn't there have been a Bulls game?
On a Sunday afternoon, probably not. And the Bears, but Godzilla 98 with Matthew Broderick. I saw that in the theater, probably on a date with somebody
who from the live right now.
How did the date end? Keep going, Liz.
But I'm like, wow, that's cool. And that, that was Godzilla for me. Now we have a 16-year-old who just went on a date and walks out of the movie theater with her nerdy boyfriend. Like, we watch, oh my God, it was the best Godzilla ever. And then she's like going on about the storyline. And then we find out it's not even in English, it's in subtitles. And that's what I was impressed. I'm like, it must have been a good movie if you're raving about it and you sat there and read it on your date.
Oh, look, hey, I'm not going to get mad at your mom for not clicking on the link because I think you got hacked earlier. But Facebook user mom, my Uncle David is a big Godzilla fan.
I mean, honestly, as a kid of the 80s, Godzilla 1989 was my movie. I mean, that was one of those ones I think we probably recorded it on VHS off of WGN, maybe.
Yep.
And, you know, I would watch it as an 8 or 9-year-old kid, I don't know how many times. And I love Godzilla. I love the Matthew Broderick one. I still love it. It was an epic summer blockbuster. I think the new ones are fantastic. Oh, you know, and I would even parlay that into the Pacific Rim figures and Pacific Rim stuff, the whole kaiju, giant monster, giant robot. You can just keep making movies blowing up cities in either natural disasters or giant monsters and robots, and I will pay for a ticket every time.
The timing was right for it in 98 because remember we had all the natural disaster movies. What was it?
Independence Day.
Independence Day, the earthquakes, Dante's Peak, and the
Volcano.
What was the one with the twist? Was it Twister?
Twisters was like 95, yeah, something like that.
All these going on, so yeah, let's start.
Bring monsters in.
There was a market. Timing was right.
Oh, and by the way, just so you all are aware, they are now officially making a sequel to Twister. So if you've been waiting,
I have.
Please tell me, is it with Helen Hunt again?
Years. No Helen Hunt. I have been waiting. I will watch any tornado movie. I don't care. I have seen Twister well over 100 times. I love it. It is. It really is. And I'm there. I am there for the sequel, no matter how bad. 100 times I'll watch it.
That was me responding to Kal-El.
I know, but I just thought it was funny that you're responding to ourselves in the live. Okay.
I'm monitoring.
I'm
monitoring Facebook. Don't pick on me.
I'm not gonna.
Oh.
Yeah, it's an interesting. It is kind of interesting to kind of see the patterns and how things kind of flow, but it really makes it difficult as retailers to try to stay ahead of it.
So ultimately, Kyle, Liz, we got to take a vote. Is 6-inch figure collecting dead?
I think yes, with the asterisk.
Okay. You're going to steal my answer. I know you are, but go ahead.
I'm going to let you go ahead and answer them.
I just think like the ebb and flow of everything, people will go, ooh, look over here. Look at this new style or this new line, whether it's, statues or something more prominent. And after a while, everything just kind of comes back into fashion now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's my thought. I just want to see them all Barbie size so I can play with them.
Didn't I make a comment about Barbie and the Golden Globes?
Oh, don't go. We don't have enough time in a podcast to get into that right now. But
my asterisk was, I think lower quality 6-inch figures are dead, dying, right? Especially if Hasbro follows the trend that McFarlane just did with kicking their stuff up to $40. Right? If Hasbro starts to go into $35 each, you're going to see a lot of drop of the Hasbro stuff because their figures are not worth. My opinion, they're worth exactly what you're paying for right now. Maybe
absolutely.
They were probably the best price point for a Legends was $25,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
right? But that's where companies like and here's the asterisk. You have a company like Mezco, or you have a company like 3-0, or now even Hyatt Toys. They're coming out with 6-inch scale, the 1/6 figures that are comparable, but when you put them next to the Legends, night and day different. And it's like, are they more expensive? Absolutely. But when I buy an Iron Man 3-0, I'm not just getting an extra set of hands with blasters. I'm literally getting probably 16 or 18 different accessory pieces to go along with it, and it's die cast, right? So I'm paying triple, but I'm getting a much better quality product. And that's what I've been seeing, that's where the struggle becomes, because the better quality product, I think, is where people want to go, but the economy doesn't support letting people get there. So people get very, very, very selective on what they buy. I got $100. I'm gonna budget myself this week to. I can buy 3 Legends, or I can buy a 3-0. I'm gonna buy the 3-0, right? I think that's where it comes down to.
I wanted to I didn't want to interrupt you guys, but our hench homies are in the chat, and I just want to tell you two, because you guys were the two behind that amazing Christmas gift. Ariel is very grateful. She said, "Thanks again for the awesome gift. It is so badass, that Gambit." And when you're talking about quality figures, oh my gosh. Like, I hadn't seen that. But I don't know. You guys can talk a little bit better to what it was, but
well, that might be an actually perfect segue into this week's member showcase.
Absolutely.
And I decided to go ahead and throw out my a small amount of my collection. So if you give me a second to present it, I'm going to start us off with what everyone loves.
So this week's member showcase is Kyle McCullum from Max Toys and Comics.
So I have I have an area set up with all of my Iron Man Legends, and then you can see a little bit farther down there below, you got some of my Toy Biz. Now I'm like really, really happy that I have a complete line of the Toy Biz open and sealed. I tend to do the same thing with the Legends. All of these Legends up here, I also have sealed. I like a sealed one. I like an open one. There's a couple that still have to be added, some of the newer ones, but I'm a big Iron Man collector. Always have been. Kind of got that, from my dad, who is an incredible Iron Man collector and just loved it. And, my dad is part of the reason why I got into collecting, and my dad is the reason for Max Toys and Comics. So, Iron Man is just something we both love together. So that's kind of my Legends. Now, here's where you guys were talking a little bit about Hot Toys. I don't know why it started over there, but here is the new Zombies Mysterio Hot Toy that I just got from Randy. This is the one that they had in Spider-Man. Was it Far
From Home?
Far From Home? Oh,
No Way Home? Homecoming?
No Way.
Spider-Man Home something.
Not Homecoming. Homebody. Okay.
No.
But homeschooled. Spider-Man homeschooled. That's what it was.
But if you guys are not, we do talk about it. Randy is a Hot Toys distributor, and he was able to get this for me, and it's incredible. It's got little fragment of pieces falling off, and this is not even fully put together. There's actually some more pieces that I can put in. There's LED lights. It's just incredible. So I have that over here. Then I have the classic Iron Man. Now, I'm also just happen to be a big Green Lantern fan, so here's a little bit of the Green Lantern. There's my bourbon. Don't touch it. That goes to show you right there. Those are the Iron Man 3 zeros, which I think, like I said, you could just see how incredibly detailed. These are die cast. They light up if you put the batteries in them and everything. They're just fantastic. And I think that's where. And then I show my little. If you can't tell a theme, most of my stuff is science fiction, but with a heavy emphasis on tech. Mm-hmm. And so I love Robotech. So I got a couple of the Invids, and that's going to lead me into the one I'm really excited to share, which is another hot toy. And then let me pause it right here so you guys can see this thing in its glory. This is actually from Ariel. The Hench homies actually made this Hall of Armor for me. And it's incredible. I mean, we got lights in there, that keep it. I mean, it's just fantastic. The quality of it.
So to be fair, we got to say it right. It's Tony and Ariel and friends, and they run the Henchman's Hideaway. We always call them the Hench homies, but the Henchman's Hideaway, and they make 3D printed creations and hand painted and added light fixtures and all these amazing details to that Hall of Armory. And it's fantastic to see it in person. I gotta say, this is a great shot of it with your dad's old stars in front of it. But that tickles me every time I see that lit up behind you in your office. There it is up there.
Just real quick, Chris Kirk was asking, is there a zombie Captain America hot toy?
I saw that comment. I don't know for sure. If there was, it's probably going to be a little bit older and probably already out by now. I have zombie Deadpool in stock right now at the store. I don't feel like I've seen a zombie Captain America, but I'm not gonna go on the record as that's one doesn't exist. But
the only one I saw, Iron Studios did a zombie Captain America statue.
Yeah, the 110 statue. And I did see another comment in there. I do carry Joy Toys as well. Kyle, I don't know if you carry any Joy Toy, but I do have a small stock of Joy Toy at my store.
Cool.
Which I honestly, Joy Toy is an Iron Man fan and a mech fan. Joy Toy makes probably some of the best mechs out there right now.
Yeah, I should get in. Well, no, maybe not.
They're great. You can get them in like one quantity, two quantity. They're fantastic.
I'll have to take a look at it.
Okay, so I'm going to shoot you a couple questions because I've known you as a collector for the longest here. You started, well, as far as I'm aware, you were back into when it came to collecting outside of comic books, right? Toys and things you could display. Was Green Lantern your first love?
Yep.
Why? Why Green Lantern?
Don't say Ryan Reynolds abs.
That's a given. You know what? I think it's probably for the same reason that one of my first loves was the Fantastic Four. Was because my dad used to give me, when he would replace his old comics, the newer versions, he used to give me his old comics. And he used to give me some old, Fantastic Four. When I was growing up, I was mostly a Marvel guy, right? So Fantastic Four and Secret Wars at 85 was when I started collecting. Okay. could still tell you the first 2 books that my dad bought for me at the comic store: Fantastic Four number 270 and Marvel Secret Wars number 5. Okay. It wasn't until I think high school that I got into the Lantern lore and became a real big Green Lantern fan. I think a buddy of mine, Joe Vanis, probably had a little bit to do with that too. I think it also had to do with just what was going on with the character at the time, and just I went through and I actually focused most of my time in completing my Green Lantern collection. But I think I've kind of I've shifted my focus. I've always had a focus for the tech stuff. I still have my Voltron from when I was a kid. I have all my Robotech masterpieces still. I mean, I've always leaned on the tech stuff. Maybe it got stronger after my dad passed, and there's a little bit of because of how much love he had for it. I attached myself to that. I don't know.
So it wasn't the Ryan Reynolds movie that killed your love for Green Lantern, just to be clear.
Okay, I will. Okay, I'm going to say something very that's not going to be popular. I actually went and saw it when it came out. Okay.
Opening weekend.
Uh-huh. Was I thrilled? Kinda. Did I get a little teary-eyed though when he did the oath at the end? Hell yeah. Did that literally make the movie for me? Yeah, kind of. Just hearing the oath spoken in a movie was just at that moment at that point in my life was the coolest thing in the world. And it's just like when in Avengers Endgame, when you hear Captain America finally say Avengers Assemble for the first time. As a comic geek, there's just certain phrases that just, if you're a fan, just they make grown men crumble. Right. And so was it a great movie? We just watched it recently, remember? I mean,
yeah, we did over Christmas break.
Yeah, I think we lost our internet, or there was. Oh yeah, that was when that was when Bridget was weed whacking and hit the internet and knocked our fiber out.
Maybe it was Thanksgiving break then.
Yeah,
we're like, oh well, we can watch.
Desperation leads to Green Lantern.
Yep. Yeah. So if you have no internet, it's a pretty damn good movie.
Blow some dust off that DVD and pop it in the Xbox.
Let's go through a couple of the comments here. Let's see. Keep eyeballing Joy Toy Figures. Who said that? I don't know who said that because they didn't like on this.
Sorry, it was way back.
That's okay. Oh, Cal L. Yeah, Cal, reach out to him. I'll have to take a look at myself. Ariel does say, hey, go ahead and check out their Facebook page. They've done a lot of different customs. I'll tell you, the Hench Homies do fantastic work. Fantastic job. So, I can't speak highly enough about them. She says, I think the part I love about Green Lantern is a combination of sci-fi with a feel of magic. Okay. Someone talked about Storm Collectibles. That's someone else that's a brand we haven't really talked about. Storm Collectibles is a little hit or miss for me, I think. It used to be I would see a Storm Collectible and I'd be like, oh, I got to get that. Because Storm Collectibles, everyone's going to get Storm Collectible. And then it sits, and you're like, I'm not sure why this isn't moving. So Storm Collectibles, I think, really just comes down to, who it is and what they're looking at. Errol C, that's how I felt about the first X-Men movie. Stood in line, went in to see it midnight premiere, dressed up with friends and the whole 9 yards. Came out with mixed feelings. Yeah.
Okay, I want to interject something there because
Oh.
if it wasn't for you started off with comics, right? Randy, what got you into all this? Was it comics or movies or video games?
Oh,
Is
my story could be like it's almost a carbon copy of Kyle there.
Mhm.
My mom and my sister, who was 3 years younger than me, went out of town when I was like 8 or 9 to Dallas to see some relatives, and my dad just looked at me and said, "Let's get some rated R movies." And of course, everybody's like, "Oh, no, we got Nightmare on Elm Street 3, we got Critters 1, we got Friday the 13th." And I had nightmares for weeks. My mom yelled at my dad. I think there were some fights there. My first rated R movie in a theater was in like 94, which was Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare in 3D. My
Nice.
dad had an astigmatism. He couldn't even use the 3D glasses, but we still went. And yeah, I'm forever an 80s horror fan in my blood and in my DNA, and I always will be. And that's kind of, I mean, it spawns to other things. I love cool stuff, but
Yeah.
my DNA is 80s horror.
Yeah.
So I was, obviously I'm representing the ladies here. I was not into comics growing up. I was into Barbies and He-Man and She-Ra and Hot Wheels. That was about it, right? Transformers. I love Transformers. Nobody ever bought them for me though. I just got to watch the cartoons. And same thing with Ninja Turtles. Like, loved all that. Got the shit scared out of me at 7 or 8 years old when Nightmare on Elm Street came out on HBO, and we had cable. And my aunt, in her infinite teenage wisdom at the time, decided that would be fine for me to watch that, and I didn't sleep for quite some time. But I again, moving up into my teen years, though, once this stuff started coming out in movie form, right? The Michael Keaton Batman movies, my favorite. Like the Tim Burton Batman movies have my heart. Like I will always have a warm, fuzzy place for Batman Returns and the original Batman. Even I'll even sit through the George Clooney's and Val Kilmer's. Okay, but it wasn't until Kyle's gonna hate this. So I started dating in high school, and I'm like, what are you guys into? Guys were into video games and the guys I was hanging out with were into video games and comic books. And I'm like, oh, you're a bunch of nerds. But the nerds were the nice guys. Okay. I'll be very fair with that. I married one. So I found the right genre here. But that was, again, movies, going to see X-Men. X-Men was the first the comic book movie I ever saw. And I was like, oh my God, that was so cool. Hugh Jackman was amazing. Storm, amazing. And then our first date, years later, what was our first date, Kyle?
Spider-Man.
Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man.
That's
Opening
awesome.
weekend. And wait, did you already see it before that with Jovanus?
I don't
Or
recall.
did you not go see it
Did
with
you
him?
did you do 2 dates with 2 women for the same movie? To see which would
Maybe.
work?
Hey,
I
man,
mean,
it was the first date. He was just
it's a good litmus test. You take every one of them to the same Spider-Man movie, and the one that reacts the most positively, you're like, "This is a girl for me."
Yeah, well,
second date.
she still likes to remind me that at her dinner on our first date, she throws out one of these random questions of, so where do you see yourself in 5
He
years?
was in the car on the way to
Oh,
dinner.
is that what it was? Okay, I thought it was at dinner. But she goes, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I said, well, definitely not married.
First things,
Like,
definitely not married and definitely not living at home.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, Kyle's 4 years older than me. I was going on 22. Yeah.
Understandable.
He's going on 26. He's definitely not married. In 5 years, bro. Pump the brakes. I was asking because I was planning on moving out of state the next month, which he knew. I mean, we've been friends for a while, and so I'm trying to make first date conversation, and this is the shit I get.
By the way, the yo I threw out there, that was our pal Chad Dunn.
Oh.
Hope you're feeling better, buddy.
Well, Liz, you brought up an interesting thing in my life.
Mm.
You mentioned Val Kilmer. Was it Val Kilmer? No, George Clooney. Batman and Robin holds a special place in my heart because it's the only movie I've walked out of halfway through in the theater. So I just want to know, I mean, we don't have to discuss it because we all have our opinions of Batman, but if anybody in the comments wants to throw out there any movie they've walked out of because it was so awful, I'd love to see some movies people thought were just awful and walked out of in the theater.
I know there's a couple, Kyle. Wait a minute. We saw a really horrible George Clooney movie many years later.
Kyle's already rolling his eyes.
I don't even remember the name of it. My gripe in this relationship is that anytime we go to the movies, it's because it's a
See you later, Ariel.
movie, right? We're always going to see the superhero movies. So every now and then I pull that card and I'm like, listen, just take me to the movies. Let's go see something other than a superhero movie. And the couple times we've done that, it's really been a bust. But this time we went and saw on like whim. Oh, this George Clooney movie. I don't know. He's looking up the name of it. I can tell he is right now. We went to the fancy movie theater where you get the dinner and the drinks, and we sat and watched this movie, and we were like, "Okay, well, we saw that. I'm not."
We so need a name for this movie right now.
Yeah, it was that forgettable. I will say this. I don't think we went and saw, I had him take me to see Killers of the Flower Moon last month. And it wasn't his jam. I thought it was a good movie. It was a great movie. It was just not.
The American.
With George Clooney. Look it up. Oh, yeah. Sure, it'll hold your interest.
I remember a 5-minute scene of him driving.
Yeah, in like snowy mountains or something. It was... I'm not a chick flick. I'm not a romance flick kind of gal, but sometimes you want to see something other than superheroes, or at least I do.
Yeah, sometimes we want to see giant monsters destroy cities or robots.
I want to see a cow in a tornado.
I want to see The Rock drive a boat through a skyscraper after a tsunami. That's what I want.
Hey, I'll go to see a Rock movie. Okay.
Oh, I'm in 100%.
It's like people talking about. I've never seen one of them. The Fast and the Furious movies.
Oh yeah, we do this all the time.
The first movie was guys racing cars. Second one's guys racing cars a little bit faster, and now it's like they're skyrocketing out of planes, landing on the skyscrapers, and shooting themselves into orbit, and it's like they're superheroes.
They're awesome.
It's crazy.
But they're fantastic, though. I mean, I've never seen it. I really feel like we still need to maintain the popcorn movie mentality.
Yeah.
One of the movies I love over the last couple of years that I get so much flack for loving is Six Underground on Netflix. The Ryan Reynolds one, the Michael Bay movie with the magnet and the yacht and all the crazy car chases. And it was like a $300 million movie. I love it. I don't care how cheesy, crappy, awful, ridiculous. Man, as long as Michael Bay blows up stuff and makes it look as good as he does, I'm buying a ticket every time. Probably going to watch it multiple times.
Right. I could get behind.
If it's got Ryan Reynolds and his abs, I'm going to watch it anyway. So.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, because Ryan Reynolds, then my wife's like, oh, Ryan Reynolds, we can watch it. And I'm like, cool, there's going to be so many people get shot in the face and cars blow up. It's going to be awesome. And she's just like, hey, Ryan Reynolds is here. He's funny. Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ryan Reynolds. That's what I'm really saying. Thank you, Ryan Reynolds, for allowing the females that wouldn't normally watch these movies to come watch them with us.
Yeah, I mean, he really does. He really does bring, like with Deadpool, he really does bring that audience, women into it. I think two characters that have really driven a interest for women in comic book culture really have been Ryan Reynolds and Liz can guess the other one pretty easy.
Margot Robbie?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
those two actors and just how they've portrayed their characters.
And their characters are both nuts.
Yep.
And they're both hot. So, I mean, you get your mix of, crazy hot, and there you go. You have a box office winner for sure.
I mean, so we're saying just basically Margot Robbie and Ryan Reynolds doing the Lord's work.
Exactly. Just
for all of us. Bringing everybody together.
Open. That's right.
I fear what would happen if they did a movie together. Would that be like just one long orgasmic 3-hour movie to watch, or
I feel like it would just be the Wolf of Wall Street, Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey, like Deadpool, and probably what was it? Was it The Nice Guy? Was that his video game dude?
The Good Guy.
That was a good movie. I like that movie.
Free Guy.
There you go.
I like that.
I think it would be some combination of it. That would be. I'm not even going to venture a guess. It would be all sorts of inappropriate.
Kal-El was actually responding to Damien. Damien said he had never walked out on a movie in a theater. Kal-El says, if I paid to see it, regardless of how bad I might find it, I'm going to finish it.
I might doze off during it, but
I really can't recall ever walking out of a movie theater, probably for the same reason. Now, me and Liz have a rule when we're putting a movie on.
At home. Yeah, when we're watching something at home.
It's the 5-minute rule.
10 minute.
10-minute rule, right?
10-minute rule. And we'll look at each other. If it looks questionable, like 10-minute rule. And kind of check in. Are you feeling this? Not feeling this? Sometimes we wouldn't even get to 10 minutes if it's really bad. But I got to say this, since you brought up watching movies at home, I have to thank Ryan Reynolds' ability to suck in, that fan base the way he does with Deadpool, because if it wasn't for that, Kyle would have never agreed to watch Spirited on Apple TV. And if you've not seen that holiday movie, you're missing out, because it is freaking hilarious with Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds. And it is not it's not a G-rated holiday movie. It's very much reminds me of Scrooged. And it's,
which I personally, you have to watch. You've seen Scrooge with Bill Murray, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's certain movies. Right off the top of my head, 3 movies that we always make sure we watch every Christmas break: Christmas Vacation, Scrooged, Die Hard.
Mm-hmm.
No Gremlins.
No.
Which one?
Gremlins to list. Gremlins. You gotta have Gremlins.
Oh, Gremlins, nah. But yeah, I mean, and that's the kids are always Home Alone and Polar Express, and I don't know.
Kal-El says his wife loves the Spirited movie.
Yeah, it is a lot of humor, but it's also very musical. And it's like if Ryan Reynolds did not have the street cred he does with my husband because of Deadpool, he would have never watched it. But it's really great. Little late for that now, since the holidays are over.
It's never too late for the Christmas movie.
Good afternoon.
I got my wife in via Welcome to Wrexham with Ryan Reynolds.
See, we've been talking about watching that. I know.
It's fantastic. It's absolutely hilarious. It's Reynolds and McElhenney doing their thing. Definitely put it on your.
I'm going to tell you something that you're probably going to is going to be unpopular for her. I absolutely love Always Sunny in Philadelphia. She absolutely hates Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Now, she hates it because the people are just so despised and despicable.
They're just scumbags. And
that's the whole point.
I know, but
really
you're talking about somebody who's I've worked retail for the first half of my life. And now I'm, I teach.
Danny DeVito,
it's like
Danny DeVito in that show.
Danny
DeVito in that show is a national treasure.
I think Danny DeVito, period, is a national treasure. I don't need to watch Always Sunny to agree with that, but.
Oh, hey, Tony said no. What's up, Tony?
I do see a comment over there. It says, "Put Ryan Reynolds in Barbie 2 and watch the ticket sales go out of this world."
Oh,
That's about the biggest no shit if you're a studio exec ever. If
Yeah,
you can
it-
get
it-
Ryan
Oh,
Reynolds
hey.
to compete with Ryan Gosling in
That's
Barbie
my
2
cat.
or Margot Robbie, then you just do the whole Deadpool Wolf of Wall Street crossover thing, and boom, man, got my money.
Seriously,
we got to be pitching these things to someone in Hollywood because, I mean, that's his printing money there.
How hard is it to pitch an R-rated Barbie sequel? I don't know. Maybe that's a good point to start wrapping it up when we start
Good
getting there.
segue, guys. Good segue.
Yeah, when you get to that point, R-rated Christmas movies, that's about the time when you do that.
Well, just don't
Yeah.
forget to tag Ryan Reynolds when you post this to YouTube. Okay,
Yeah.
it's my, live stream right there.
Well, any final thoughts from each of you before I close this up?
I think no, I don't really think anything. No, I'm good. I mean, last year was awesome. I think we're gonna have great figs this year. I'm looking forward to all the pre-orders and stuff coming in. I'm looking forward to everything. There's some awesome stuff on the horizon, and 6-inch figures aren't dead. They're gonna get. There's gonna be some hits. There's gonna be some misses, and me and Kyle, I'm sure we're both gonna be ordering most of them. So
Yeah.
hit us up for your dying, going extinct soon toys.
Yeah. I'll have all 99 Star Wars Black Series if you need them. No.
And maybe Joy Toys this year.
Case of 6.
Yeah.
I will say that I love this conversation because whether it's movies that bring you to the table or comics or video games or horror, having that common ground to talk about the things that we love and that influenced us and that, left an impression on us, especially as we were growing up. It's just pretty cool place to come and celebrate that. So it was great chatting with you gentlemen tonight. So thanks for having me.
No, thank you. And
Thanks for being here, Liz.
We went out, in closing, we absolutely love kind of the direction we're going in. We're all really excited. Make sure to check out our weekly post on all our sellers. We got a couple, Vanessa and Mario have come back. Yeah, Nick.
Oh yeah, did we even touch Boom Bang Pow?
Yeah, I missed over that. I missed over that. I'm a jerk.
I mean, we were talking about 6-inch figures, and they're like the kings of 6-inch figures.
Oh yeah.
We just glossed over Vanessa and Mario and Boom Bang Pow toys.
I have sent more people to Vanessa and Mario looking for the Batman and Robin. We're all talking about how horrible that movie was, and I've literally sent 3 people who've messaged me this week, going, "Hey, do you have any more Batman and Robin McFarlane figures?"
They're looking for George Clooney.
Painful.
Painful. Speaking of,
they want the nipple. They just want the nipples on the costumes. That's all they want.
I'm just going to
because Robin and Batman have them.
I'm just going to shave off the nipple.
Or else they're huge Alicia Silverstone fans, and they've been waiting 30 years to have her in an action figure for.
Finally,
Nipplegate.
But we do appreciate you all. You guys really make this the community. You really make all of this possible. Do us a favor and go ahead and we'll be posting something about the website, but please go check out the YouTube channel. If you're interested in sending us any videos, just message us in the admin chat. We do have an admin chat that's going. Please, we ask you to not try to sell anything in the admin chat. We really just want that to be a place where you can very easily send a message and our entire admin team sees it. So, but again, we appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Fantastic conversation tonight. I think that's it. I think we're done.
Cheers to a new year at the castle.
2024 castle.
Bring it on, baby.
Eventually, I'll come up with a good tagline to get us out.
All right.
Well, tagline to get us out right now is goodbye. So take care, everyone.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Bye.